Hi, you're still with The Perspective, and I'm still with Sonita Lontoh from SVA Technology. We want to go to this Silicon Valley Asia technology that personally, in my mind, sounded like a sort of superhero group that reaches out for potential superpowers to bring betterment, according to you, to bring betterment for human beings. I might have read too much comics, but please do tell us more about the SVA Technology. How did you guys start, and what is exactly that you're doing right now?
Sure, good question. So basically, informally, in the last few years, a few friends and I, Indonesians, located in Silicon Valley, sometimes when there are delegations from Indonesia, be it from the government or from the private sector, we had always been kind of like ping, someone would ping us and say, hey, we're coming, we're interested to learn more about whatever the subject is. Let's say e-health, or like we're interested to learn more about digital health.
Right.
Can you help to like arrange some meetings, with like the people in Silicon Valley in this particular subject, so that we can learn more about it.
Right.
Perhaps maybe even forge partnerships, with the right partners in Silicon Valley and all those things. So we've been doing this, Dean, for like years.
Right.
And so after a while, a few friends and I, basically my co-founders in this Silicon Valley Asia Tech Alliance, which is a nonprofit, by the way, we said, hey, why don't we do this like formally, so let's have a nonprofit, let's name it Silicon Valley Asia Technology Alliance, and really focus on bringing kind of the technology ecosystem from Southeast Asia, in particular Indonesia, of course, because we all have our heritage in Indonesia, but we do want to make it, a little bit broader than just Indonesia, regional, Southeast Asia, to really bring this kind of like ecosystem of entrepreneurs, venture capital, incubators, accelerators, and even, government officials, policymakers, and corporate, from these countries, bring them to Silicon Valley, put them into kind of like a 7 to 10 day like intense experience where they really learn, from experience, first-hand experience on how Silicon Valley works, so we call it a boot camp. It's just a name. I know. I think some people sometimes ask us, what is a boot camp? Is it like serious. A military thing or something? Yeah. No, we just call it a boot camp because it's a short amount of time, 7 to 10 days, very intense experience.
Very packed?
Very packed. Every day there's a schedule. Usually, depending on who the group is. If it's like very new, we'll start with like Silicon Valley 101, like how to start a company, like what are the ingredients, and then we got them to meet some founders, and depending on who are in the boot camp, they can meet founders who are just starting the company, could be like a company of 5 people with, small funding.
Small group, right?
Yeah, small group could be like a mid-size, like founder who has like built a company with maybe a few hundred people and has raised few $100 million, but could also be like someone who has sold it to a big company, so we really give them a range of experience so that, each of the participants of the boot camp can relate, like the guy who's just starting can say, oh wow, so that's really some of the challenges to scale, to
that
like
is actually happening right
exactly
now.
To scale from like a small company to a big company.
Yeah.
So in Silicon Valley, actually, there is this thing that's called the Blitz Creek. The Blitz. I'm not kidding.
Now you're remembering, the Blitz Creek.
The Blitz. Well, I know that was like actually a reference from like from World War II.
Yeah.
But what really differentiates companies in Silicon Valley versus companies from other places, so actually Silicon Valley is not the place where most companies are started. There are many places around the world where companies are started, right? But the difference is, somehow the tech companies that are started in Silicon Valley are the one who can really scale up very quickly, and they call it like the blitz, like the blitz.
Acceleration, right?
Yes, they can scale from like a few users to like millions very fast, and that is really the differentiator, because once you have scaled to millions, you have this network effect. It would be harder for other people to come into your whatever,
your force,
your territory, your industry, and so. A lot of people come to Silicon Valley to learn about this. How can you scale, blitz scale? How can you scale very, very fast? And there are entrepreneurs there who teach courses, like really tell you how to do it. I mean, you may or may not be able to make it, but there are ways.
The knowledge is there.
Exactly, the knowledge is there.
Right.
And then in addition to that, you want to build your network. You want to network with potential investors, maybe even big companies who can help you scale, with their distribution channels. So we really just want to provide a lot of experiences, to these entrepreneurs from Southeast Asia, that they can bring back the experience, to build, whatever it is that they're building in their home countries.
Communities, businesses, right?
Yep.
So it is not too far off from my initial idea of like, this is like a hub for like, super potentials to gather up and to go mature with the boot camps and the Blitz.
Yep.
Awesome. If you may add a little outlook or hopes for especially this kind of acceleration, this kind of spirit of entrepreneurship involving IoT, right? Connectivity for Indonesians, wherever they are. What can you share with us?
Yeah, I think Indonesia, well, at least as a country, has a lot of potential. I think everyone already knows that. And last time I checked, I think our GDP is actually growing at a pretty respectable rate, about 5.2%. I think about $1 trillion economy, so growing 5.2%, very, very respectable. And we have a lot of young people. At the Congress, I saw a lot of these young people who, they have a lot of enthusiasm and hope, and they want and energy. They want to do something. So I would say like the potential is there, but there are of course things that we need to do in order to help our people get there. I think from the government perspective, they need to set the right policies and framework, but also to help with the curriculum. I think the curriculum development, so that we can have the quality of human capital that is ready for this knowledge-based, 21st century economy. So I have a very positive outlook, I would say, but of course there is a lot of hard work that you need to do in order to get there.
To start building the path and then to accelerate that. Wow, awesome. Sonita Lontoh, thank you so much for joining us on The Perspective today. Best of luck, and I really wish to join that boot camp by SVA Technology Alliance one day. Not too soon, I hope. Or too late.
Or no, not too late. Yeah, we have it every year, so you're welcome to apply.
Mostly autumn, I guess.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks to be here. I'm Dean Benitez, and this has been The Perspective. Thank you for watching. Ciao for now.